What are the 10 Commandments? A sin is an action contrary to the love of God and neighbor. To give you an idea of this dual precept, of what goes against it, God gave his people the 10 Commandments. This happened a long time ago during the Exodus from Egypt, but the 10 Commandments, of course, continue to serve as a valid moral model for our conduct in life. According to the usual way of counting, the 10 Commandments are divided into 2 groups. The first 3 commandments concern God, while the other 7 concern the everyday life of each one of us. The first commandment is, I am the Lord your God, you shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol or any likeness. This means that God, who transcends the earth and all material things, has a primary role in our lives. Money, charisma, success, beauty, or anything else should not become idols by taking the place of God. The second commandment says, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. This means that we should use the name of God in all divine things with respect, avoiding cursing with them. We should not commit evil in the name of God either. The third commandment says, remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. This means that on Sundays, we should attend Mass, rest, and refrain from unnecessary work. For Jews, the Sabbath is the day of the Lord, the 7th day when God finished creation. For Christians, the Lord's Day, Sunday, is seen as the fulfillment of the Sabbath, the first day. 159, of the new week in the day of resurrection in Christ. The fourth commandment says, honor your father and your mother. This commandment concerns the right relationship of children toward their parents and parents toward their children. Family relationships should be marked by love and respect. The fifth commandment says, you shall not murder. This means that one should not violate the right to life of an innocent person. Thus, abortion, euthanasia, and suicide also break this commandment. We could also rephrase it as respect life. Excessive alcohol abuse, heavy smoking, and drug use destroy life, and these behaviors are also contrary to the fifth commandment. The sixth commandment says, you shall not commit adultery. This means that the marriage bond and conjugal love must be kept sacred, including all aspects of sexuality related to it. Sexual expression is an expression of marital love and has its place within marriage. Everything connected to this truth will be the subject of the next episode. The seventh commandment says, you shall not steal. This means that we must respect the property and rights of others. This also includes treating others justly and not taking advantage of them at their expense or cheating in school. The eighth commandment says, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. This means that as Christians, we must tell the truth and not lie or harm others through deception. The ninth commandment says, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. This commandment certainly applies to men and women as it is directed against lust. Lust destroys the order and stability of one's entire life. This commandment also orders us to avoid things that provoke lust in others. For example, it is not good to wear a skirt so short that it could be mistaken for a belt. The old but profound word used in these circumstances is modesty. Modesty exists not to conceal but to protect what is valuable. The 10th commandment says, you shall not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. This means that we must fight against greed and envy. We must learn to strive for the supreme goods, the spiritual goods. These benefits can be shared without diminishing them. If someone, for example, shares the truth, it does not diminish, but others can benefit from it. This is a very brief summary of the 10 Commandments. The Decalogue is like a compass pointing towards the goal of humanity, which is to be with God.